Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Today's guest is a WBBF pro, high-tech athlete, and an ICU registered nurse, which is pretty interesting in this time of COVID-19. Please welcome to the show, Alex Witthoeft. How are you, Alex?
Hey, what's happening, Ron? Thanks for having me on the show.
So I got to start with the nickname. I bet every other German was very upset that you got that nickname first, the Germinator. It's perfect. So it's a weird place to start, but did you come up with that nickname, or did somebody give it?
First of all, who comes first, gets it first. Actually, a friend of mine in the gym where I used to work out, he always called me the Germinator. And he came up with that because I sound like Arnold.
Yeah.
So, and because I sound like Arnold, he didn't want to call me the Terminator, because another client of mine called me always the Terminator, so he called me the Germinator. So
right
that's how it all started,
Okay. Now here's a weird question. I just saw before and after on your Instagram of 1981 and today, and I tried to figure out how old you are because I'm going to be 51 in September. How old are you, sir?
Okay, well, there was a big mistake. It should have been 91.
But I was going to say, you're not that old.
I'm 43. I turned 43 a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, I didn't want to change it, and I just left it.
I was going to say, man, this guy is looking amazing he's got to be like 52 going by that picture, 53?
Yeah, 52, okay. 53.
For 43, you still look great. So let's get to the story. Where are you you're originally from, Germany? What part of Germany are you from?
Actually from East Germany. I was like behind the Iron Curtain. And then in 1989, of course, the wall came down, the Berlin Wall, and with that also the Iron Curtain around like East Germany, That was like a big thing. Basically like a North Korea kind of thing. Like where you have electric fences, minefields, self-shooting devices around the country. Like you can't leave. You can't leave.
How old were you? Do you still remember any of that, or were you too young?
Yeah, I remember everything. I was 12 when the wall came down.
Okay.
It wasn't bad though, We had a lot of good athletes and stuff, and just they didn't want to let you travel. That was the thing. Only once you become like 65 and older you could travel. So that was, a little tough.
So were you an athlete all your life, or what were you like as a kid?
Yeah, I was always an athlete. I did like wrestling, swimming, once I was a lifeguard over there. I played soccer, I did track and field, a lot of things. And they were very supportive of that in like East Germany, It was very, very good. Always. Yeah.
So when did you start weight training? Was it for sports?
Weight training, kind of like, I was bullied in school, kind of like a lot of people, that got like inspired by that. And, I was sick and tired of it. So my friend who actually dropped the class down into my class, he failed his class. So we had a little setup in his attic. So we had like papers on a wall. I mean, we are talking, I was 14. So we are talking 1991, not 81. And then we basically did the top row like one day, and then the bottom row the next day. We basically trained 6 days a week, And I mean, we had the weights that we had basically were like train, like stuff from trains, supplies to put a train together. I mean, it's crazy, But we made it work. So that's how things started. And then they opened up a gym like in the town, like because it was post East Germany. Things started to come in a little bit, develop. I mean, nobody heard of a gym there before. So where we started to, acquire different equipment, and that's how we built a little gym, like officially for the little town. So that's how things started.
So when tons and tons of teenage boys lift weights, but most of them never look like anything special. When did you know that your body was responding? That you were getting a look to your body that most other kids around you didn't have?
I want to say 16. When I started with 16, I know I wasn't fully developed, but once I started 16, I think like things started to kick in a little bit. So the guys that always bullied me, they left me already alone. So they didn't even say anything. And then I remember I started taking protein. And I mean, you remember back then, right? Like the protein nothing dissolved. It was kind of like this,
It was horrible. And, supplements were terrible.
Yeah, but I knew it would work. So I started taking protein. I ate. I mean, I wasn't. There was no internet or anything. Not to mention magazines. I didn't have anything to follow. It wasn't like here in the U.S. So it was like really, really hard. But I just did my own things. There was not much research to do. I just knew I had to be in a caloric surplus. Ate a bunch of carbs. Like every meal had carbs. It was usually pasta. My dad was home and he would cook me pasta every day, all the time. So, that's how I started growing, Didn't pay attention to body fat. I didn't care. I just wanted to get big,
So when did you become aware of, like the bodybuilding culture and the sport of bodybuilding?
That was more like when I came over here. I came over here in 1998, started going back and forth. So when I came over here, I actually stopped bodybuilding for around 4 years because I was a wakeboarder. I was pursuing wakeboarding. That's actually how I came here originally. A friend of mine in Germany, she owns a ski park, a cable ski park. I'm not sure if you've ever seen it. Maybe look it up later or look me up on Instagram.
I saw it on Instagram.
Yeah. So, and I was very, very good. I almost, became a professional. And but then the career came to an end in 2002. I injured myself. It was just getting harder and harder. And then the young kids, I mean, they did those tricks that we invented, just like that. So I had to give up the sport and I went back to bodybuilding. And then, I got really involved with it and I decided to do a show. That was in 2008. I remember it was the South Florida Championships. I did the novice heavyweight bodybuilding. I took first. But and that's where I met not sure if you remember Carlos Rodriguez, Pasto Pump.
Oh yeah, I know Carlos. Of course, Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos. And also I met him on the boards on intensemuscle.com, little advertise for Skip. Yep. I know him from there since 2002 actually from 2004 from intensemuscle.com. So I ran into him, we had a chat. So, and then there were a lot of athletes. So I was motivated, but then somehow, I started dating a former pro figure. I'm not going to mention her,
Oh, okay.
So yeah, actually, well, it's okay. So anyways, and then they started the division of men's physique started. And she was pushing me a little bit. She said, do men's physique, that would look good, So I started that. But back then, they wouldn't they always told me, one of the judges, oh, what are you doing? Bodybuilding, right? And I said, no physique. Oh, you're too big. Oh my God. Back then, compared to now, I mean, those guys now, they are huge,
yes.
If you would have showed up back then, no way, you would have been disqualified or you never could have made it,
Right.
So yeah, and then things didn't turn out so well. Sometimes I took second and sixth. I actually was at the Southern States. I think it was 2009 or 10. I'm not sure. Where Jeff Seat.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course.
Yeah. This is actually where he started his career. He won that show. And then I think, he did one national show and he turned pro. So I competed with him. I took sixth in that show. And and then shortly after, I just switched over to the WBFF, first show, and I got my pro card there. And then I did a pro show, which was in LA, was the LA Pro AM. And I took fifth there, which wasn't bad. So, and I think I competed once more after that, but that was it, Then I started getting serious with work and more school and stuff. So,
yeah, because you've been a registered nurse now. You've been an ICU nurse for 8 years. Have you been a registered nurse longer than that?
No, straight into ICU, and that's another thing. It was once I was done with school, I was fuck it, I'm tired. I don't want to. I need a break. So I went to Germany, came back, and I was a personal trainer while I was in school it helps you, you work less hours, you make decent money, and you can study. So when I want to pursue, I had a lot of clients, I want to pursue training a little bit, take a break, look for a job the following year. But then one of my professors, she actually worked also in a hospital in an intensive care unit. And she said, Alex, we need you. Day shift, ICU. And I was like, oh my God, Evelyn, I said, really? And then she said, like, it's, you better come on board, blah, blah, blah. So that's how it started. And then in December of 2012, I was actually working ICU Nurse ever since.
That's got to be a very, very stressful, difficult job, because that's people who really, it's life or death every day in there. Forget about the COVID. We'll get to that. But what's it been like 8 years working in that environment where you're the difference between life and death for these people in front of you every day?
Yeah, it's like, it's nothing like it that's, I know it's a 12-hour job, and many people have 12-hour jobs or more, but it's like very, very mentally. You have to be mentally strong, because basically on a daily, when you're there, you deal with life and death. That's basically it. When people are there, they are there for a reason. And, not everybody makes it out of the ICU. And then you are there with families, and you build a little relationship with them, and then sometimes, of course, it depends on the age, when a patient is about to pass away, it depends on the age too. If you have somebody like 21, it's like, of course, a lot harder when you see them and you are there with the families, you pray with them, you are there, you comfort them. It's completely like, people that don't know me, they would never expect that from me, but I love my job. Sometimes I would pick up extra shifts. I would do sometimes 5 12-hour shifts just because I had
In a row?
Yeah, in a row. Yeah.
How's that even possible?
Well, you do it, you do it. It's just, you develop a passion because you are there, the family needs you. And then sometimes you feel like, and that's nothing against any other nurse, but you feel like the care that you give is the best care you can give for this patient. So you want to be there. So of course, when you go back the next day, you get the same assignment. And it's mentally, most of the time when I'm there, everything stays there, of course, unless some events happening that you will never forget. Certain events, like you have a patient that crashes maybe 15 times, young patient, you go in there, you resuscitate them for like 30 to 45 minutes, finally get them back, and then 10 minutes later, boom, again and again and again. And and the way everything looks, you never get it, you never forget about it, you will always talk about it, because certain ones are like those ones to remember. It's
I don't know how you do it, because most people maybe they see a person die in their presence once or twice in their whole lives. And I'm not even going to ask you how many times. I'm sure it's been many, many times now. And
countless, endless. The thing is, the other thing is, you have to understand the nurse who is from the patient. You have to do a lot of stuff afterwards. It's not just the patient dies. You have to notify, the people like Life Alliance or so. You have to report a death, and there's so much paperwork to do. But then in the end, you are the person who backs the patient and tags the patient. Like literally what you see in like movies or Faces of Death or something. That's what you do. You take all the lines out, you put the tag on the toe, with the name tag, everything, and you put them in the back and stuff. It's like things that I watched and I was like freaked out, like years ago when that like those movies came out and stuff. And I'm like, which was like reality. And now I'm basically reality, But besides all this, it's a privilege, it's a privilege for me to do this job. I love it. I love it.
So how do you manage your training and all your meals when you just said you've worked 12, if you've done 5 12-hour shifts in a row at times, that's 2.5 days where you didn't leave that hospital.
Basically, yeah.
So how do you even have enough food with you? I don't understand.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, I hear sometimes, I hear sometimes people in news here, they complain, they whine and cry, oh, I don't know, and I can't eat, or I didn't get it. Listen, if I can do it in the ICU, well, basically, I know I'm there from at least 7 to 7:30, so I make my meals. When I get there, I have my first meal before I start the shift, and then 9:30, I try to have somebody watch my assignment. I step out, have a meal. I mean, we're not talking about like a pleasant, time of sitting down and relaxing. No, you do it, you eat it, and that's it. I try to make it really small so that I somewhat digest it better. But this is how I manage, I'm not always able to sit down. Sometimes my lunch turns into dinner. Basically, my lunch is sometimes at 5:30 or 6:30 because they give you like half an hour to really sit down. You have to take it and sit down, but sometimes it's not at 12 or 12:30. It's just later. But I do manage to get my meals in. I manage to get my meals. I have to. If I don't get them in, forget about it. I will be sitting in the bed right next to them,
What about sleep?
Well, sleep is you have to manage it. So when on days, it's like 3 days a week. 3 days a week. So my training is usually 4 to 5 days a week. So on certain days when I work, but I have to go to the gym, I manage that I'm off the next day. Like I manage that I don't have to go to work the next day. Otherwise, it would be too crazy. So I get enough sleep. And on other days during the week, I go to bed early. But on days when I'm working, usually I don't train. It's just you're too mentally exhausted. Like physically sometimes, but mentally too exhausted. You just gotta manage.
It sounds like that would be plenty. You don't need any more on your plate. But I looked at your website, germinatorfit.com, and you do a lot of coaching. You're working with a lot of other people, coaching them, and even doing hands-on training at a place there in Florida. So you're working. I can't even imagine all the hours you're working doing all this stuff.
Yeah. So, and I told myself, I gotta slow down a little bit. I gotta take care of myself. So I slowed down a little bit as far as like when I train people. Like I don't train 6 o'clock clients in the morning anymore or anything. I go afternoon. I manage them to train them around my times, but I slow down. Sometimes it's better for me to pick up an extra shift than managing clients, like a client here, 2 clients there. Then I'm always gonna be working, and I can't do that. I gotta have some time for myself. So I learned how to manage that. And like I said, sometimes it's better to pick up a shift than trying to manage with clients, So
when was the last time you competed, Alex?
2016.
Okay. Would you be able to? Well, that was while you were doing all this too. So was it more difficult doing your job when you were on a contest diet?
Yeah, but the thing is, I managed, but like the focus, you have to really control yourself. You have to really control yourself. Where you're working, the decisions that you make, somebody's life depends on. I am in charge. I have to monitor. They have arterial lines. They show you the live blood pressures, everything. They are on drips. We call them drips. That like where one drip, like per minute, like a tiny drop per minute, is so powerful that helps them to develop a decent blood pressure, so they perfuse. So if you don't pay attention, because like your mind is all fuzzy, you miss that this drip is dry. And now if the patient doesn't get the medication, the patient dies.
Wow.
Like it's that intense. You have to really, if you would decide to compete, you really have to get your mind together, So it's doable, but you have to know what you're doing.
Did you ever watch the show Nurse Jackie on Showtime?
No, I heard about it though. I
think you'd like it. It was a pretty good show.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, it's over now. They did the finale a couple years ago, but great show.
Oh, maybe they have it on Netflix or something.
Oh, it's got to be on. It's got to be on something.
Somewhere.
It was a really good show. So COVID started national news. We really only became aware of it here, the public anyway, around early March, I guess. When did you first start hearing about it in the ICU?
I actually started hearing about it already like in December. Not in December, in January. In January, like some news came around a little bit. There were people getting this virus down there in China, but everything was taking a little bit easy, nothing too crazy. But then the cases, I mean, we saw it then in the news, where the news already started talking that those cases developed, it's spread it out like, rather rapidly than slow. And then end of February, I think we had to start, initiate precautions. We started talking about it, how we're going to do things. Where I work at, we have a brand new ICU, which was opened up about a year and a half ago.
Oh.
And the old ICU is now our current ICU. So the new ICU, because every room is like completely, we can isolate it completely, like for airborne precautions, like negative pressure. It's all like high technology. So we turned this into a COVID-19 unit right now.
Wow.
Yeah, because there's still cases coming in. But yeah, I would say end of February, we had to start taking precautions.
And in your particular area, I don't even, what area of Florida are you in? What's the nearest big city?
Coconut Creek.
Okay. So I know they have a very large senior population in Florida in general. What was how bad did it get as far, did you go through your peak of cases recently or a few weeks ago?
Yeah, I think 2 to 3 weeks ago we went through the peak. And the thing is, we had a lot of snowbirds. The snowbirds, they actually didn't leave. They didn't leave. They stayed because, who wants to go back to New York where it's cold,
Right.
Like the virus likes to hang out there. So, yeah, but you could see really where slowly but surely the cases started to drop, but not like what you see on the outside. Like cases, like we still have cases coming in for sure, still positive people, but it's not as crazy anymore like it used to be. It was really, really crazy. I mean, now on a daily, like when I'm there, sometimes you have like 15 to 20 cases coming in, and they have to be ruled out. Not everybody's positive, but they rule them out. So we have to wait till the test results come back. Once they are considered negative, we can, ship them out to a different unit. But now everybody brings them in our ICU. They make it a COVID unit. So whether the patient is critically ill or not, they bring him to us now because they can isolate him the best.
Did it ever get to the point where you didn't have enough ventilators or you didn't have enough beds for people? Did it ever get that overwhelmed?
I must say we did have enough. We did have enough supplies, but it still was overwhelming because like to deal with all the patients and the sickness and if you don't work in this environment, you cannot believe how strong this virus is. Like it's unbelievable. I mean, we had two successful extubations of people. Everybody else that was intubated died. Everybody else that was intubated died. Yeah. I mean, many. And I mean, everybody intubated patient, and then it came around to that proning helps, Usually you use a bed. There's special beds, like huge beds, they call rotoprone beds. It's where the patient goes like in a Trendelenburg position or reverse Trendelenburg, and we turn them upside down for like 24 hours. And then the other way, it's a protocol.
I never even knew this thing.
It's crazy because it takes the pressure off the lungs. So usually this helps a little bit. When your lungs are affected and the ventilator, nothing helps anymore. I mean, we paralyze the patient so that that nothing fights the lungs, that the lungs can recover, like no movement. So when that doesn't work, then we put them also paralyzed on the rotoprone bed. If that doesn't work, we do something that's called ECMO, where we basically connect your circulatory system to an outside artificial pumping system. So your lungs are completely not involved at all. It's called ECMO, ECMO. Look it up sometime. It's very, very crazy. And then, it's a bedside procedure. The vascular surgeon puts like a thumb thick catheter in the superior vena cava, and then you're connected to a pump outside, and then an infusion specialist is basically running that machine. So it's really, really, really crazy. In the end, what we did is, because there's not enough rotoprone beds. So the patient that were basically sedated and on ventilators, we would prone them. We had to turn the patient. Sometimes if you have a mega big patient, I mean, think about that. You prone them. And then patients that were still able to, take directions, follow commands, we would tell them like to turn on their stomach, for a certain amount of time. It's crazy, It's crazy sometimes when you have your patient, you talk to them, everything is fine, and then you come the next day, patient is dead, Yeah.
So I want someone who actually knows, like yourself. You're on the front lines. You're much better qualified to comment on these things than the average Facebook poster who's regurgitating and repeating stuff a million other people post. Is this mainly a disease of the elderly, or did you see a lot of middle-aged and even younger patients too?
The way I see it, it's not like with the elderly. It's said that they have a little less strong immune system. But the main thing is, if you ask me and many doctors, we all agree, is diabetes. Everybody has that, that I know that has had diabetes. Everybody that passed away, like diabetes is a big, big, big thing. And at first I was noticing, I'm like, diabetes. And then people started to talk, man, everybody's having diabetes. That's like, with the elderly, I just say, if they don't have any underlying conditions already, like heart disease or kidney disease, if you have any pneumonia or lung disease, you're basically, screwed. I want to say, it's very, very tough. But diabetes is a big thing. Diabetes will kill you. Diabetes is a big thing. I think that's the biggest disease. Like that's the number one killer, I want to say, in the US, in the world.
It's not going anywhere. Our number of diabetes numbers are just going up every year.
Yeah, it's crazy. But the elderly, but and you see also a lot of patients, a lot of the COVID cases that are considered like cases, they would have died anyways. Like, I don't want to sound cold, but they would have died maybe sometime down the road, a few months down the road or so. But of course, now the COVID, it just accelerated it, So this is often overlooked, and then the media makes the hype. So suddenly the person died on COVID, which is, everybody died on COVID. But
well, that's there's all. I'm on Facebook. I shouldn't be on Facebook that much because it'll drive you crazy. But I hear a lot of nurses, off the record saying a lot of deaths that are happening that are not COVID are being counted or attributed to COVID.
Yeah.
Is that going on? Is there a lot of that?
Yeah, I mean, I cannot speak like from my hospital. I couldn't tell you.
Right.
I couldn't tell you any numbers or anything, but I've seen that too, and I agree. I agree 100%. And but it's mainly the media a lot. And oftentimes they just hear, okay, somebody else died, and suddenly it's because of COVID. I don't think it's true. Not everybody that dies is from COVID, but they make it like that for sure, 100%.
So help me figure this out. We have one side saying COVID is a hoax. The media exaggerated how dangerous it is, how easily it is to get infected with it, the death rates from it. And then the other side is very, very much saying this is the worst health problem we're facing in over 100 years. And we all need to be very, very worried. We need to keep quarantining, keep social distance, keep taking all the precautions. So you would be very qualified to tell me the truth or your perspective. Has this COVID thing been exaggerated, or is it just as dangerous as we're being led to believe it is?
I think, I tell you the truth again, it's very dangerous. When you have it, it's very dangerous, but a lot of people have it, they're symptom free. Again, and then people, you can compare to the flu. So, the worst, and I looked at it as well. Like the worst cases of flu death, I think was like 2017, 2018, there were like 60,000. And I thought like, whoa, we're never going to reach that. But I think it's now at 100,000. So, but now how many of those 100,000 are true COVID, true COVID. And I do believe also it's a little bit exaggerated. It's a little bit exaggerated. Sure, it's important to keep certain precautions, but I think with this entire like lockdown and stuff, it was a little bit too exaggerated, in my opinion, And even now, it's a little bit too. It's too much, like once this is all over, I still want to see people. Okay, wash your hands. Like people, when the flu was around or so, people don't do hand hygiene and everything. They don't wear masks. They know they have the flu. They don't wear the mask. They have the flu. They still go to the gym and stuff like that. Those things that shouldn't be either, but nobody cared about it. So now with this COVID thing, they are suddenly so crazy, And I have my own theory, and I'm not sure if it's worth mentioning, but
here we are. Go for it.
I always said it. To me, this whole thing is kind of like a World War III. This is global. People die, and quickly. Quickly. Like you could start a regular war, with bombs and stuff. I don't think as many people die like that, just like that. And I don't know, some people can do a lot. They do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of blaming on others. It's all China. And then, people can, the media is good at influencing us, A lot of people live inside the box. They believe everything they see, everything they hear, I love our country. And I always support the leadership, whether I like our leader or not. My parents always told me, you got to support your leader, so pray for them. And that's fine. But certain things I don't believe. And I also do believe people do crazy stuff to win elections, votes. So, and I want to be careful with, saying all these things, but there's a lot of stuff going on. We will never know the entire truth on this. When I see this now, suddenly this comes all out of China and stuff. And at first here, our leader said, hey, this is easy. It's not going to be big, nothing crazy going on. And so the numbers are still going on. And suddenly everything he said was forgotten. So now, I don't know, Ron.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Alex, what about your own safety? Because you've been going to work day after day for months now with this virus all around you. What kind of precautions do you and the other nurses in the ICU take? And, do you still worry that you could get infected?
Well, the thing is, you have to just, you have to basically take your PPE and do hand hygiene. You have to really be careful what you're doing when you go in the rooms of the patients that have the COVID virus. You just have to be careful. You have to wear your mask. You have to really watch out. For me, the hardest thing was always to go in a room where the patient was actually not intubated, then the patient was coughing. It's like, oh my God, because they didn't have to wear a mask, in the room. It's their room. Then you go in there and everything. So that's the thing. But you are completely gowned up, shield, glasses. You're from top to bottom. You're covered up, and then you sweat, and that's crazy.
Does anybody in the hospital been infected regardless of the protection?
Yeah, actually, we had a doctor there that he died.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, he was at home, and then he kind of like came too late to the hospital, and he passed. It was all, and I can say that because it was publicly announced and stuff. So he came, and then he couldn't make it, like
wow.
the doctor.
Did he contract the virus at the hospital?
No, he outside, or maybe inside. I don't know. I can tell you where. But he had it. He had the symptoms, strong symptoms, and then he came in, and then I wasn't there when that happened. So
yeah. Wow. Okay, well, let's talk about something a lot more positive. Let's talk about you're part of one of the biggest companies in the supplement industry, High-Tech Pharmaceuticals. How did you become part of the High-Tech family?
Well, it started like I started posting more stuff on Instagram, you know, about what I do with training. And I was actually back then I was with ProSubs. I was with ProSubs. I was their demo representative. So, you know, a lot of ProSubs, but I did kind of felt like I did a little bit more than I got. So, you know, and that's how it is. I mean, you see it with all the athletes. Hey, somebody else comes by, gives a little bit bigger paycheck, boom, see you later. You know, and there's no contract to be broken or anything. So, anyways, I had never like a contract with ProSubs. So you know, and then one of the main guys, which is Aras Gardenas, and of course, you know, Anthony Preciano. I spoke to him shortly after, to Anthony, but then Aras, he contacted me, you know, it's just something that I would be interested. So they sent me all the information. And yeah, ever since I have been with Hitech, and super blessed, you know, they are very supportive, especially with me, with my nursing. You know, sometimes it's not always easy, you know, as an athlete, as a sponsored athlete, you know, you also have to pay your dues. You know, you do a posting, you do your stuff, and sometimes, you know, I always couldn't do it, and they understand the situation. You know, recently been going through divorce too, so and they have been really, really cool, especially for me not competing. So, you know, very, very blessed. You know, the last thing I actually did, like officially with Hitech, we did a shoot. It was like the Battle of the Brands. That was with like Top Secret Nutrition, Hitech, APS. I was down here in Florida at the Zoo Gym. You know, Anthony did this. So it was really, really good. You know, I loved it. You know, the biggest thing I always wanted was on the cover of MD.
Oh,
You
wow.
know, so yeah, that was the biggest thing. So for me, this is an honor to be here. You know, you contacted me, so that's the biggest thing. But I'm not sure how this is possible without actually competing. You know, but you never know. What's meant to be is meant to be. You know, so
they
yeah.
own like 10 or 12 companies at any given moment. So
What a blessing.
you have access to products from all of those?
Yes. Yes. It's a certain amount, up to a certain amount per month. And and whenever new products come out, they are, I mean, unbelievable. You know, they just throw them in the box, you know, ask us to talk about them. Especially now with the COVID-19, they have a lot of great products that came out, like, you know, especially like the zinc and all the immune system support, subs, vitamin C, vitamin D, like black elderberry, ashwagandha, like all these products, super good. They came in and they just throw them there in the box with you, so for you to have, and then to, of course, advertise a little bit. You know, love the company, really, really good. You know,
Top 3 favorite supplements from any of the Hitech family of supplements.
creatine monohydrate is a must, of course. That's powerful. Always been good, been great. Using a product right now, Cataline.
Yeah.
I actually made a IGTV about it today.
Oh.
Cataline, super good, and actually does what it promises. You know, gives you, you know, supports your energy even in a caloric restricted diet. You know, helps with fat burning. And then I like their precision protein, and cinnamon cereal crunch is my favorite. Cinnamon cereal crunch, you know, gotta have that. So love it.
Yeah, precision protein. I know that's been selling very, very well.
Yeah, so very good.
For you people that you want to check out these IG stores and all that, it is on Instagram, all caps, Germinator. And if you're terrible at spelling, just put German and then ATOR, and you've got Germinator. But
actually, it's Germinator Fit.
Germinator Fit. Well, that's the website. Oh, you're right. No, you're right. Oh, okay. I was going by the thing on the on the under the profile pic. It's Germinator Fit, which is also the website, right? Germinatorfit.com.
Yes, germinatorfit.com.
Cool.
Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, you're welcome. So you haven't competed in 4 years. Do you miss it? Do you want to do it again?
Oh, the thing is, I miss it. I would really try out, you know, maybe the classic physique. But again, you know, it's a decision that I have to make. And, you know, actually tomorrow I have my interview to whether I get accepted with the school, with the university. And I'm sure I will be accepted. So I am not sure if I will have the time to compete. That's the thing. It's a doctorate program. It's very intense. It's 5 days a week, 10, 12 hours days plus studying. The thing is, I actually won't be able to work. I won't be able to work when I do that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got to have the finances. So like a lot of things, there's a lot of things. So, but I wanted to do, here's the thing though, I love doing photo shoots, and I actually start prep now for a photo shoot. And the photo shoot that I will be doing will be with another friend of mine. Her name is Elise Angela, and she's like a top model. And so I want to do this with her, but I want to see maybe I can do something with high tech when I'm in condition. And I will reach out to Anthony. I will let them know, hey, around this time I'm gonna be, ready. So I'm sure there's something in the cards. Why not? And maybe I end up on MD. Who knows?
Maybe.
ICU and like ICU nurse. Look, as an ICU nurse, who knows?
We don't have too many people that look like that have a demanding job that like you do. That's very rare. So I'm just curious, when you get that doctorate and you finish that, what is your job title, or what is your job transition to? What would you be after that?
Oh, so after that, normally there's you're a nurse practitioner, but I have a doctorate in nurse practitioner, and I'm also going to be a nurse anesthetist.
Oh, wow.
So it's basically called DNP-NA, Doctorate in Nursing Practice, Nurse Anesthetist. Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to do the nurse anesthetist program. It used to be a master's program, but now it's a doctor's program. But the good thing is that once I'm done with this program, I can work as a nurse practitioner. Like I can go and do anesthesia. I can prescribe prescriptions, like all these things. So it's really, like many things all together, which I wouldn't have if I just have a master's as a nurse anesthetist. So
you'd basically be a doctor almost. It's not an MD, but for all intents and purposes, we don't have that many doctors left anymore.
I can open my own practice. Sure, I still work under a MD, but I still can open up my own practice and see all the bodybuilders. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
It's not enough of us.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I think I'm making the right decision with that. I'm not delusional. I wouldn't be, I'm a very competitive athlete, and for me, it's either first or none. There's no other placing. And if I don't have a real chance to be like Mr. Olympia or anything, I rather prep for a photo shoot. I have more from that. I know amazing photographers. There's Ulrich Erman, Raphael. They're two super good friends of mine. Ulrich as a German himself. And, I have a good time, get amazing pictures. And this is really what I love to do. This is something for me, for my own, without having to do any posing practice, for hours and hours.
Yeah, I love competing, and I encourage people to compete, but it sounds like you have so much else that takes precedent over that, and most people don't have anything remotely like you have going on or to look forward to as far as their goals. So I think competing for you would probably be a very bad idea.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I'm happy that I can see that. And I see a lot of people, they don't see that. There's a lot of people, they are a little bit delusional, So I don't want to say that because that, not everybody does it. I want to be first or so, they do it for the love of competition. But a lot of people, though, they have choices to make in their lives. So, and sometimes they forget about it. So they lose their family. They lose opportunities to have great jobs. I've seen divorces just because of that, because the top guys up there, we're talking Brandon Curry, Flex Lewis, Sean Roden. Look at those guys. They have families. They do their thing. I see it all the time. I know Flex personally. This is all, they still, the sport is, but they don't live the sport they don't live the family around the sport. They live the sport around the family. Family is still number one. And the people that fail they just live the sport around or they make the sport the number one thing, family second.
Yeah. No, I've known so many people like you're describing. So many. Too many. I'm 50, so man, I could rattle off about 100 close friends over the years that were just like what you described. They gave up everything, and now they have nothing. They have no family. They have no money. They don't have a pro card, so they're just not very happy.
Nothing, and probably bad blood work. They made poor health decisions.
Oh, I didn't mention the ones that are dead. I'm talking just about the ones that are still alive. But yeah, a lot of them did pass away, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's a lot of that's a good thing. I love my career because I know a lot about blood work. I know a lot about like I can read blood work, and I can make suggestions to people. I can see a lot of things. I don't want to mention any athletes that passed away. I've seen blood work. A lot of them posted their blood work, and then I could see already, like, man, oh my God, like your HDL is like what? It's like 9. Oh my God. So a lot of poor choices are being made, So, but let's talk Olympia. Let's talk Olympia in December.
Yeah, you're going?
I would love to go.
Yeah,
I would love to go,
I'm glad there is an Olympia this year. I was a little worried.
Yeah, it's crazy. But have you made any top picks? Any picks this year?
I mean, I think probably Classic Bumstead probably going to repeat, but Breon might get his title back. I want to see Sean Roden come back this year. I want to see Phil Heath come back this year.
Yeah.
I want to see. So Brandon's got to fight them off. I'd love to see that battle. How cool would that be?
So as you started with Classic, wow, I think all I see on Breon is hungry. Hungry. Yeah. You think Chris is going to repeat? I think Breon is going to get the title back. I actually think Chris. I'm not even sure if he's going to be in the top 3.
Wow.
That's okay. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion.
That's fine. Yeah.
And I must say this though. I am, I'm a big fan of Breon. And not Breon, Keon. Big fan of Keon. Yeah. So his decision to go up to 212, I'm okay. I support him, but I was a little bit disappointed, I must say, because I could really. I mean, this kid.
He was 24 years old.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he doesn't see it, but to me, his physique is like the classic physique. I think if he would have come this year, I mean, he would have battled it out with the top 3 guys. 100% sure. Like, he's the guy to amazing. So I didn't understand his decision, but I think in the 212, I think it will take him a few years to be there.
He's not competing this year. He already told us next year. He's going to take off all year and get big. Very big.
Okay. Hey, that's probably a good decision then on his end. But I would have loved to see him at least one more time in Classic, one more time. And then Open.
Flex Lewis, number 1.
100%. Yeah. I must say, Flex, I mean, he, to me, always, like, even not last year because he didn't compete, but the year before, overall, all the guys with the Open and 12, he has the most complete physique. Yeah. I mean, the density he brings, the muscle density, I mean, I love his physique, not just because I know him, it's just Flex is like, wow. So I think Flex, I think Brendan Curry, he's going to come back improved, though. He's going to come back improved a little bit better, for sure. I mean, it's amazing, his body. So I think those two are going to battle it out. So Hardy is not going to come?
He wants to. I don't know if they're going to, if he's going to. It was a miracle he got into the USA last year. I don't know if they can do it again. If he comes,
those 3 going to battle it out. But I think the top 2 spots, I mean, it's hard to say. Even Hardy could, those 3, That's what I want to say. But I think Flex will going to come out in the top. He's going to come out in the top. And then Bonak, maybe fourth or fifth. You know,
So
if
got
Sean,
Dexter, you got Rolly Winkler, maybe, and yeah, Sean Roden coming back. That'd be amazing.
I mean, if Phil comes back too, we have to see, you know. We have to see, you know, because last time, you know, having an umbilical hernia like that big, where it's like really, I felt bad for him, you know. Yeah, it sucked. It sucked. It really, really sucked. And then with the classic guys and stuff, so I'm not too sure about the classic guys, you know, how this is going to be. Then there's women's bodybuilding, right?
Yeah, the Miss Olympia is making a return finally.
Yeah. Wow, it's
7 or 8 years
I
away. It's been gone. It's been gone for 7 or 8 years from the Olympia.
Yeah, that's sure. It was but I'm glad it's back. You know, going to see some good physiques there.
Cool. Well, Alex, you have been so generous with your time. You know, thank you for everything you're doing every day. I always tell people doing in the ICUs or whatever, you're doing God's work, because really you're saving lives. This is not many of us can say we have that direct impact on human life the way that you do every day. You're actually saving lives every time you go to work. So thank you from everybody on our behalf.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
What an opportunity. It's awesome. It's an honor. I'm like, wow, you hit me up, and it was a pleasure being on the show, you know.
Yeah, I said, this guy, the Germinator, I got to see what this guy's all about.
Well, now you know.
It's an awesome nickname. So your nickname was a big part of it. But I encourage everyone to check out your Instagram, Germinator Fit, and your website, germinatorfit.com. You are available for online coaching. You do a lot of prep work and regular human beings and all kinds of people to reach their personal fitness goals. So this guy is obviously extremely well educated and experienced. So you'd be in great hands if you decide to contact Alex and work with him. That's it. Thank you for your time, Alex. And wishing you the very best in everything you do. And everybody, thanks for watching Ronline Report with this man, Alex Witthoeft. We'll see you next time.